name is Bill Levinson, Managing Partner with Levinson and Associates. We have a very special presentation today. We actually have a very successful agent of ours all the way from Texas who's joining us on today's call. We have the actual lead program creator all the way from South Florida who's joining us. He's going to touch on how the program was developed and give us some insight and tips to make the program more successful for you. Joseph Loughran is also joining us, our marketing VP. So for those of you that have seen or used our lead program, I think we can all agree that most of the time the program works very well and you can make lots of money and obviously supplement your income or even use this as a primary source. If you have not tried the program yet, now is the time. The leads have been excellent. We have put together some new marketing material that you can use in conjunction with your calls, some great new programs, and just to kind of give you some more of a value-added approach. And you can add things in such as the scholarship program and living benefits. So in other words, life insurance that pays while you're alive. Obviously, we have some great pieces on supplemental products, so not just life, where you can talk about critical illness, disability, accident insurance for basically pennies on the dollar. Some great new products that you can sell online. So in other words, you have the prospect on the phone. You can literally email them a link. They can sign up in less than 5 minutes. The policy gets mailed directly to them within 48 hours. So some great new stuff that kind of works with the lead program. And it'll make you and allow you to be able to streamline this whole platform. So the point being, you're on the phone, you make the sale, they fill out the application, and then everything is done through email. And then, of course, the policies get sent right to the client, which will allow you to move on to your next sale. So great platform and technology behind all of this. But number one and most important is we wanted to take 30 minutes or so to have Kent, who's using the program every day, and give you his take on the lead program, and good and bad. He's going to be honest and tell you just like it is. And then, of course, Stephen is going to give you his take and give you some tips because he actually developed and used the program for 25-plus years. So I like to get his side as well. So without further ado, we're going to move forward here. If you want to take out a pen and paper, jot down any notes that you might have, questions, comments, and then, of course, we can visit those after the call. You can call in or shoot us an email, whichever easier for you, and we will make sure that we hold your hand to get you comfortable with the entire program. So just a few key notes here I'm going to pull up. No shared leads. These are all 100% exclusive to you. Now, that doesn't mean the same client, okay, or mortgage holder didn't fill out multiple cards or mailers. So yes, you have to be the first one there. You got to make that phone call as soon as you receive your leads from Joe. But this particular mailer and lead is only sold to one person. It's important that you know and understand that. The minimum order is 12 leads, and the lead cost is $18 per lead, and that's a co-op price. So we absorb part of that fee, and the only thing we ask of you, because it costs us money every week when our agents participate, the only thing we ask is that any and all business that gets written from these leads must get placed back through Levinson and Associates. It's very important. Obviously, we're not in this for charity and for volunteer work, so the only thing we ask as a favor in return is all business gets sent back through us. Okay, now the minimum order is 12, and we give out 2 free leads for every order of 12. That's huge. Obviously, this brings your lead cost down. If you order 15 leads, we give you 3 free, and then 20 leads, you get 4 free leads with every order. So That's just to make up for any, let's say maybe someone filled out the card and they didn't share all their correct information, or if you're having trouble getting a hold of one of the mailers. We just kind of do this to make everything right and just show a good faith on our end. So if you've used the program before, I think that you can attest to say it's been very successful, and really the proof is in the pudding. And I'll just tell you real quick, we started this a couple years ago, and when we spoke to Steve about it, you know, we were very cautious, and I said, I don't want to roll something out to our field force. We have 10,000 agents across the country. You know, we can't put our name behind something and have an agent come back and say, oh, the leads are garbage, this doesn't work. So we took a very slow, conservative approach, and we grabbed a few agents to pilot the program for us, and Kent was one of them. And we said, you know, let's use the program. We're not going to open it up yet for a few months. Let's see what kind of success that you're going to have through this, and see if you want to come back and order. Well, here we are 3-4 months in. Everybody came back. We decided to open this up, and it's a fact that 70% of the agents that use the program come back to order again. Is it perfect? No, it's not perfect, but if you're willing to put the time in and give it a fair chance, the program should work for you. And I'm going to let Kent and Steve talk a little more about that, but I'll just keep moving forward here. No minimum order requirements. Okay, so what that means is on Mondays you must put your order in, and you will receive your leads within 24 hours, typically by Tuesday before 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And we don't keep charging your credit card every week. In fact, we don't charge it at all until you give us the okay. So it's very, very important. And then, of course, last and the third time now, all business must get placed back through Levinson, as you know. Okay, we even are so confident that the program works, Joe put together a lead reimbursement program for all of our agents. So Joe is going to touch on that, and then we're going to dive right into the presentation with Steve kicking us off. Joe?
Yeah, thanks, Bill. So just real quickly here regarding the lead reimbursement program. So it's very simple. The first step, of course, ordering the leads. Step 2, once you write and actually place a policy that was sourced through the mortgage lead program, we will reimburse you for the cost of each lead for that placed policy. So if you write one case, you're going to get that $18 back that you paid for that mortgage lead. There is a simple form you fill out with that policy number. You do have to submit that with the application, and then once that policy goes placed and that free look period is passed, then we'll actually send you the check for however many policies you qualified through that reimbursement program. So just a great way to get some additional value, to actually be able to get more commission and more funds to put right back into that lead program. We have agents now, it's not uncommon for us to be sending out checks on a monthly basis, you know, for $100, $200, $300 just for that lead reimbursement program.
Okay, thanks, Joe. So our first guest speaker is Stephen, who created the program, and he actually isn't just some third-party lead company off the street. He's been an agent and a friend of my father, Carrie's, for 25-plus years. So we have a great relationship on a personal and, of course, a business side. So we obviously trust Steve impeccably, and he's done a great, great job for us. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Steve, and we're going to just basically have an open conversation and go over some of these questions that our agents actually told us to ask. So the first one is, how are the leads generated? Are they shared? And what parameters do you have for the leads? So Steve, if you want to jump in, that would be great.
Thanks, Bill. And I'd like to thank all the agents that are attending this afternoon. We got a great support here of numbers. And I especially want to thank Kent for taking his valuable time and volunteering to step up. In regards to the leads, and as Bill mentioned before, the development of these leads was through my personal experience with the lead program, specifically a mortgage lead program. And I knew what really worked and what part of it really didn't work so well. So that's how I really put this thing together, trying to take what I thought was the best of the best and offering it to the Levinson agents. And another great, I want to mention what I think is the best, one of the best things about this mortgage lead program is that the agent is paying for every lead that he or she actually receives. They're not ordering a lump sum bulk mailing or anything like that and hoping that it pans out. So for every lead that you're getting a usable piece of lead that can make you some money. Okay. The leads themselves are generated. The data that's put together for each lead comes from the various counties throughout the United States. And the data is put together, obviously, by people who've recently taken out a mortgage. Could be for a new home, first mortgage, could be a refinance, could be a second mortgage, or even an equity loan. And all of this data is gathered through a clearinghouse. And as leads come in, based on the areas, that's how it's sent out. So these leads are updated, and they're fresh, and they're right out of the territories of where people have gotten their mortgages. They're not shared leads. Each and every lead that's sent out to a Levinson agent is theirs and theirs alone. As Bill mentioned, it's not to say that people, because they do get besieged with these mailers that come to them, based on the fact they just took out a mortgage, fill out more than one of these things during the course of time. But they are fresh. And to give you an illustration, I would say from the point of the respondents, the people that fill these things out with the names, and again, you'll have a chance to see a sample lead when Bill brings that up after Kent's done. When they fill these things out and put them back in the mail, the agent has probably gotten his hands on that particular lead probably within 3 to 5 days. So that's about as fresh as you can hope for. So people's memories will serve them. They're not going to try to remember why they're getting this call or what have you. The parameters of the leads, and this is sort of important, and I want to explain again from my personal experience what we try to do here to give the ordering agents the best bang for their buck, aside from the free leads that's included in every order. What we do, and we probably shred anywhere from 30 to perhaps sometimes half of the leads that we get, simply because they don't really fit the bill. The mortgage amount, certainly ages of people, just don't really make it as far as what I consider a good usable lead. Again, I use the parameter of what I consider it a good lead. If I do, out it goes. If I don't, into the shredder it goes. And it's really as simple as that. Now, when agents are ordering leads, they put their preferences on as far as counties in their particular state. That's where I want to take a moment and explain clearly what we try to do. Again, the name of the game is success, is to make money. And you may, as an agent, include 2, 3, 4 counties, what have you, okay? We will always check out those counties first and look at those leads that are included in those counties. Most probably, those counties will not, I won't say all the time, but in a good majority of cases, those 2, 3, or 4 counties won't be enough to fill the order. Besides that, even in those counties, we're going to take a look at each and every mailer, and we're going to see if it really meets, again, the criteria as far as mortgage amount and ages and that kind of thing. Because I'd rather send an agent, frankly, 100% leads that are outside his so-called preference counties, but are good quality, I mean good quality leads, than to send them frankly, half-baked type of leads, okay? That's where the money is. Good leads will provide you with good prospects and a good possibility of making some good commissions. And that's the name of the game. So understand that going in, that even though you may prefer prospects in certain specific areas, you're going to get a number of them outside those areas, but they're going to be scrutinized and handpicked for the quality. Okay? I'm done with that.
Okay, thank you, Steve. So the next question here, and we'll just kind of keep this brief, but most important, I want to give everyone on the call just a pulse on the program so they understand, obviously, the ins and outs. What are some keys to being successful with the program? You know, what can they expect, and what are they required to do to really make the program work?
That's a really good question, Bill. And I know that Kent is going to address that for his experiences. The first thing is you need to make a monetary, a financial commitment. Okay, as you can see from prior, you know, the lead orders and what they cost. If you do the math, it's not a great deal of money, but you know, it's money. But at the same time, you have to believe in yourselves, and you have to feel that you have the talent to certainly, you know, cover those costs and then some. Okay. At the same time, this monetary commitment, and I'm not trying to oversell any agent, believe me, but in all fairness, and again, I think Ken will address this, you have to give yourself a fair chance. And by that I mean, in order to be successful, you need to order more than once. I mean, anything is possible. Lightning can strike at any time. But the chances are, if you can make a financial commitment going in of 3 orders or 4 orders or you know, whatever you're comfortable with. And it doesn't have to be consecutive weeks. But what I'm saying is if you make that kind of commitment, you will find between the people you're working on, the people you've closed, the people you need to follow up with, and all of that is going to generate a lot of activity. And we know in this business that we're in, that activity equals commissions. Equally important is being thorough and being persistent. And again, Kent is going to speak to that from his personal experience. But, you know, as Bill mentioned, it's very important to get on the phone as soon as you get these leads. These leads are ordered on Monday evening, and they're put out by Tuesday evening. And for any agent receiving leads for that week, try your best to get on the phone as soon as you get these Tuesday evening and start following up. If you can't reach people immediately, just keep following up. The ones that you do, you need to get the information that you need. And what I mean by that is it's very important to ask questions. You need to get them involved in a conversation, because this is the primary source of communication that you're going to have with these prospects. So you need to ask probing questions. You need to ask questions that are going to give you as big a picture as possible of their lives and of these prospects' needs. Because from this kind of way of doing things, it's not just a matter of looking at the dollars and cents of this particular mortgage and going for a term, you know, mortgage product, but rather looking at something that can provide you with more information through these questions, and being able from there to develop something, to really show people what you can do for them on a bigger scale. And of course, bigger scale again means more premium dollars. So, you know, it's all up to the individual agent as to being successful and how he handles these contacts that he has with these recipients who sent him these mailers. And that's the best way to explain the success from my standpoint.
Okay, and Kent will dive a little more into that as well. All right, the last question for Stephen is, what are realistic expectations based on your and other agents' experience? So what can, for, let's say, a first-time agent or even someone that used the program a while back, what can they expect to either to maybe to make contact with or to sell and see the whole process all the way through?
Right. Another good question. I want to mention, and maybe this goes a little bit back to the second question, excuse me. Being able or being confident and comfortable with e-apps and drop tickets is very important because, as I mentioned a moment ago, many of the leads, if not most of the leads, are going to be outside the drivable area of an agent. And this is very, very important. So, you know, the point of it is that being persistent and being thorough is going to help tremendously as far as being able to give people quotes, emailing them with these quotes so they have something in front of them along with your name and phone numbers, and being able to maybe put together possibilities that are far greater than just, again, what's on that paper, on that lead that you're receiving. In reality, again, based on doing this on a regular basis with follow-ups and being thorough and professional on the phone, I've seen probably between the basic smaller sales, which is just selling a term policy based on the mortgage, and the larger ones, which are a result of developing through, again, asking questions, conversation, and finding out about other insurance they may have and that kind of thing. I think realistically, anywhere between $1,500 a week to $3,000 a week on a regular basis of sold premium is very attainable. That was basically what I was doing on the top end, making various clubs and what have you with this kind of program.
Okay, that's perfect. Okay, we're going to move forward here. We're going to introduce Kent from Texas, and then we're going to show you what a sample lead actually looks and feels like, and we'll explain all the information that you're going to see on your first batch. So without further ado, Kent is, like I said, all the way from Texas, and he has taken time out of his personal time to share insight with our agents on how the program works, maybe some tips and advice. So we really appreciate him taking the time. So the first question we're going to ask Kent is, when you receive the leads, what is your process? Now, obviously, this will vary from agent to agent, but I think if you can give a broad overview of your process from start to finish, that'll help everybody out.
Sure. Thank you, Bill, Joe, and Steve. Sure. I'm just going to kind of go through it real quick. If everybody will write, I'm going to talk really fast. You know, I receive the leads, I print out the leads, I place a date at the top right-hand corner of each lead, just because in the end, these get mixed up, and you're going to know what date that lead was actually, you know, sent to you. So just that's your form of organization. You know, first thing out of the gate I'll say is that don't over-organize. I'm a real organized person, but I'll be the first to tell you that if you get too down into the detail, it can become negative, and you don't want that. You want to keep the simplicities. You know, listen, some of us have cut trees down to create a superhighway, and some of you guys want to just keep cutting trees. Don't cut trees. Just get on the highway and run, because we've made the mistakes, or some people have made mistakes. Learn from those that have, and just start making money. So after you place the date at the top right-hand corner, you're going to obviously make the phone call, take the notes at the bottom part of the sheet, have your website up and running, or the Levinson website up and running, so you can run quotes, because you're going to want to talk to those people, engage in conversation, get a quote to them directly to their email. So and I'll close in that answering this question with, I always recommend 3 sources of leads, of which this is one source of the leads that are generated for your business. Find you 2 other sources because you want to mix it up. I've found that I'm better with different sources coming in rather than focusing on one source of leads.
Great answer. Excellent. Okay, we're going to move forward to number 2. What have you consistently seen in the leads program since starting with the program a couple years back?
Sure. I know Bill and Joe and Steve all know that I speak pretty candidly about the good, bad, and the ugly. So I'll start out with the good, bad, and the ugly, and then I'll break that down a little bit. The good is, policies are written. They are written through this process. The bad is you're going to spend money. It's, there's a cost for doing business, so you're going to have to be willing to write that check and do what it takes to make money. And the ugly, you're going to make 20 calls, and you're basically going to, sell two policies. I mean, that's the ugly part of it is you got to get on the phone, and whoever sweats will get through the phone calls, and eventually you won't sweat as much because the closer you get to and the more no's you get, the closer you get to a yes. So good, bad, and the ugly. Well, let's start out with the numbers. If you buy 20 leads, you're basically spending, let's say, roughly $360. You're going to basically write an application that will probably bring you in $600 annualized income a year. And then a second one should be a larger case. Let's say it's $2,400. So you're looking at about a $3,000 gross income, less the $360 you spent. You're looking at a net of about $2,640 a week. And those are just simple numbers. They're very conservative, writing 2 policies. Again, let's review. Out of 20 leads, there's going to be 5 that will show interest, 3 will probably write applications, and there's 2 that will be approved. There's some that will fall out because of health reasons. Those 2 that will be approved, again, one will be small at $600, and the other one should be a larger case. So you're looking at about $3,000 gross. I would say that 98% of my business is over the phone. So I wouldn't worry about, Steve mentioned don't get caught up in getting those in your own county. I would encourage everybody. Texas is a large state. Most of my business is in California and Florida. Or a lot of my business is in Texas right now because of how well the economy is doing. Find you a rich economy. Atlanta's a good economy. Find you a place that's a rich target environment, and don't worry about local people as much as where people are making money, because when the cash flow is flowing in a home, let's face it, they're willing to let go of it to purchase that insurance policy. Let's be analytical and strategic about how you market your business. The next thing I'd say is just be organized, but not to a point of seeing the big picture. In other words, don't lose the big picture when you get down into the details of organizing all these leads and even the rest of your business. If you get caught up in the details, you'll get frustrated and become negative. So just move on to the next call. So my philosophy is make another call. When you get a no, make another call. You make a good call and you make a sale, hey, go to the gym and work out and do something, play golf, do something to reward yourself because you made a sale. It's a game. All this is a numbers game. And finally, if you're willing to make the small ones happen, the big ones will come. I was told by a very successful guy about 10 years ago when I was in this business that if you'll do the singles and the doubles, the big ones will come. And I look at this program a lot like fishing. And you guys were talking about this a minute ago, Bill. You talked about if I look at it as if you put one line in the water, and Steve, you said this about buying 20 leads. You put one fishing line in the water, you have a chance of catching a fish. But if you put 20 lines in the water, you have a much bigger chance of catching a fish. Let's just be real. And there are fish in the water. It's not like you're fishing in a hole where there's nothing to catch. There's fish in the water. It's just you guys look at it as the more lines I put out there, the more chances I have to catch that fish.
Yep, good point.
That's it.
Yep, and you just never know. And I remember at our expo just a couple months ago, Kent flew down, and in the middle of our meeting, I mean, he was literally using the computer and fax machine at the hotel's lobby. He just wrote a $10,000 plus application from the lead program. So you just
Yeah.
never know, what that next case will be or what's going to come out of this. But you got to stay consistent and persistent to make it happen. What were you going to say?
Well, yeah, I'll add to that. What came of that case was very interesting. They said no to me, and we had a personality conflict. And I was in the car coming from Tampa, driving with my brother-in-law in the car. And that case turned into a $700 and something a month premium. And so, but I basically got a hold of the person. There was a personality conflict like 2 days before when I was in Dallas. So what I decided to do was let some time pass, and this is a good learning for everybody on the call, is whenever time passes, people forget you. People have a short memory, especially those that are very busy, and if you didn't say something stupid on the phone, they're gonna, you have a chance to reinvent your conversation. So in other words, I created a new relationship, and I actually did the application right there. We got the deal done. Well, they came back I think it was a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and they got a $1 million policy. Now they want $2.5 million more. This has turned into a $2,500 a month annual, or not annual, a monthly premium. This deal is just an example of why you want to seek out that big catch. And those big catches, I'm just telling you, you look for business owners. Ask them what they do for a living. Find out what they do, because there's a need there. They're a key person in their company, and find a way and find their need and fill their need, because that's what this business is about.
Yep. Thank you, Ken. Great point. All right. The last one is for Ken. And what are suggestions to other agents on how to make the program successful? So any good tips or insight would be great.
Yeah, I'll leave you with 3 things. The 3 things I'll leave you with is rejection, being methodical, and being transparent. We'll speak on rejection first, because no doesn't always mean no. It means not right now. So many, just like the relationship that was kind of broken, and before I got in the car and made the second call, people have timing issues. They have bad day. They got mad at their spouse. Somebody said something to them. They don't want to talk to an insurance agent no more than they want to talk to a car salesman. So you have to understand that it's not you, it's them, and you have to work through that with your own confidence and your own experience of, what, this is just the way it is in this business that I'm in. So many are in a bad mood, so give it a rest. Personalities don't always go well together. So what you have to do is you have to reinvent yourself each time you get on that call with that person, and call back in a day or 2 and just learn from it. So like I said, the other one, I recreated the conversation. I knew her personality, or knew the personality of the person on the phone. And if they're a type A, then you need to learn how to deal with those type A personalities. The second thing is being methodical. And you need to find out why people are interested in purchasing insurance. Yeah, they sent in this lead for mortgage protection, but what's the real reason they're buying insurance? You need to dig down underneath, and ask them, what the $5 question is, why do you really want this insurance? Well, I want to protect my, home, and what, okay, well, let's talk about your family. So get into that conversation with them. And, prospect call, I'll give you an example. Prospect called me yesterday who had written insurance in the past year, and he wanted to know about insurance that pays off the mortgage. This is not one of my lead mortgage leads. It's just another client I had written in the last 2 years. He said he had received a marketing piece in the mail about the insurance that protects his mortgage, and it was cheaper, and he didn't have to go through an exam. Well, without me going into a great explanation, I just said, well, I can do that as well. So basically, we can do a non-medical, right up to $350,000, and write him insurance. So people are, we have to understand that we are educated insurance folks, and we're around the terminology all the time. But the people on the other end of the line, they don't get the difference between life insurance and mortgage protection insurance. And if it does come up, then explain it to them. It's, mortgage protection insurance is life insurance. It's basically utilized to protect someone's mortgage, and that's the way that it's designed. And finally, I'll close with just be transparent with your leads. meeting people where they are. I mentioned that earlier, but, study different personalities, learn how to become, being yourself. You always have to learn how to match people when you're on the phone. I'm originally from Oklahoma and being from Texas, I take great pride in just being a real person and being transparent with a very wealthy person, but I also take more pride in being with someone that works day to day and forgive me for saying it, but wears overalls and is just a down-to-earth person and, has a need. And so be relatable, be real with your people, and most importantly, listen to what they need. Thank you, guys.
Yep. Thank you very much, Ken. That was great. And it's just so true. Like you brought up an example with how, the client says, I heard about this product that protects my mortgage. And, the bottom line is there's no fancy mortgage protection product. All that is a non-medical term policy with different riders that we can attach. So, educate the consumer because, like he said, it's so true. Most customers, they have no idea. So be real, put your overalls on, get on the phone, and make it happen. That's it. So that was great, Ken. We appreciate that. All right, moving forward here, we have about 10 more minutes, just a couple of tools and programs that you can use in conjunction with the lead program. Very important stuff here. The first one is the most important, a sample lead. So this is what your leads are going to look like. And of course, it's very simple. You'll have the mortgage amount when available, the county, and of course the borrower and co-borrower's information, and as much health info as we can possibly gather. So as you can see below, we have height, weight, smoker status, phone number, cell phone number, and then the same for his wife. So, be prepared, know what you're getting into, run some preliminary quotes so you could be ready to go as soon as you get someone on the other side of the call. And once again, we put the orders in Monday, and you'll have your batch of leads by Tuesday before we close for the day. So moving forward here, Joe's going to talk about some agent lead resources that we put together. Then we have a few other lead programs he's going to dive into. And then we'll close out the call in about 10 more minutes. Joe?
Yeah, thanks, Bill. So everybody on today's call will, of course, receive an email with the link to actually play back today's webinar. We'll also include the Mortgage Lead Program FAQ sheet, which are some common questions that have come up over the years. We'll also include some of the lead scripts that will actually allow you to kind of look at what some of the other agents are using for that mortgage lead call and kind of how to introduce yourself and start that conversation. Also, Bill mentioned some other great lead programs. We do have an in-house annuity division, which is headed up by Josh Hoffman. He is at extension 23. On the left-hand side here, you'll see we have a co-op annuity lead program. This is a direct mail piece. Right now, the response rate is a little over 2.5%, but this is great for those specific annuity leads. The cost is actually just under $500, but keep in mind, you're getting a much higher type of commission on those annuity sales. On the right-hand side, we have a co-op final expense mail piece, which is actually co-op by Transamerica and our office. That cost is just $330 per thousand. That covers the mailing, the postage, the printing. You basically pick the zip codes. You pick the average age of the client. You actually pick the average net worth, and then these go directly out to those clients. You will receive those response mailers specifically for that final expense plan. So two other great lead programs if you're interested to take a look at.
Okay, I'm sure you heard about June is our IUL Challenge Month, and our promise to you is if you download the new IUL sales software and you listen to some of our IUL trainings, you will sell your first indexed universal life policy. If you already are a professional at IUL, you will double or triple your business by using this software. It literally does all of the selling for you. So it compares indexed UL versus any qualified, non-qualified, 401k, Roth IRA, basically any type of investment or retirement product against indexed UL, and it really makes for a no-brainer for the client. It's a win-win. So get your arms around that software. It's free for all Levinson agents, and this is our last IUL training of the month. on the 30th. It's on June 30th, 2 p.m. Eastern. You do not want to miss this call. I can't stress it enough. Joe Ross is the host. He is a well-known industry speaker at all of our big events nationwide. He's the best speaker I have ever heard, and that's my promise to you. The guy's unreal. So definitely jot that down, June 30th. You will thank me after. It'll be that good, I promise you. Joe Ross on the 30th. Okay, at the bottom there, we put together a contest with IUL, right in place a total of $7,500. Of course, you get your free IUL sales software. There's a program with flip charts and PowerPoints all attached to that program, and you get a free Apple iWatch, or of course complimentary E&O paid for the year, or $400 cash, and the contest ends in a few more weeks. So get that in, very important. Joe will give you a quick overview of what that sales software looks like, and then we have just a few more slides here, and we'll wrap up.
Yeah, thanks, Bill. So I just want to show everybody real quick that IUL sales software. I mean, this is one of the simplest, easiest to use platforms we've really ever seen. We have the back office training and the support line to kind of help get you started. We do give the first 4 months of software access absolutely complimentary, and then if you place $5,000 of IUL business, we actually pay for an additional 12 months of software access, so you can keep using the platform. You basically run an IUL illustration, import all the values, and it literally compares that IUL plan to any other sort of retirement plan and shows you all the advantages of using that Index Universal Life product. We will include a link in today's email for all appointed agents to actually go ahead and download that software and get started. But just a great way to really double or even triple your income based off of Index Universal Life sales.
Okay, thanks, Joe. Brand new, just rolled out about 48 hours ago. It's the Guaranteed Exchange Program, guaranteed issue, folks. If you have written any Banner Life term policies in the last 4 years, okay, you can literally go back to that client, sell them a new 25-year term, guaranteed issue, and full commission paid on the difference of premium. This is an awesome program and a slam dunk. So we sent out an email yesterday. We have all of this information on our website, and we'll also include it in today's email. But this is a no-brainer if you sold any Banner Life term policies. Okay, also very important, these days you must have E&O insurance, crucial. We have an exclusive program that we teamed up with AIG, $395 for the year, $1 million of coverage. Most important, it covers B-plus carriers or higher. Okay, most E&O covers A- or higher. So that's big, especially in the annuity world, because most of the more competitive products, as we know, are coming from B-plus rated carriers. Okay, Joe's going to talk about our new mobile apps, some live upcoming agent training events, and then we'll close today's presentation.
Yeah, thanks, Bill. So coming soon, we're actually going to be able to download the Levinson app from either the Apple Store, the App Store, or if you have an Android through the Google Play Store. But basically, that mobile app is going to allow you to have single sign-on, quoting abilities, case status abilities. You'll actually be able to even do e-applications and drop tickets right from your mobile device. Doesn't matter whether you're using an Apple iPhone or maybe an Android phone or anything that's not Apple-based, but this is coming soon. We're actually just finishing up the final design, so it's going to allow you to be that much closer to all the tools that are on CarrieLevinson.com through any sort of smartphone or tablet. So definitely be on the lookout for that launch email. Also, some upcoming training events. I know Bill already mentioned it here, but Thursday on the 30th at 2 p.m. Eastern, we're covering the fundamentals of Index Universal Life. We're going to dive into a little bit on that software program and go over some sales concepts that work. And then Thursday, which is July 7th at 2 p.m. Eastern, we're covering a brand new tool to Levinson agents called the E-Requirement. We're going to actually do a demo. This is basically allowing you to collect e-signatures on any ancillary forms that are required after you've submitted a case. So whether it's a travel questionnaire or a HIPAA or HIV form that you forgot, you can now get those done electronically. And by using that program, we're seeing about 5 to 7 days, sometimes even a week and a half, being saved on the overall policy cycle time. And then the last webinar on this slide is actually Wednesday, July 13th at 2 p.m. Eastern. We're We're covering our Sell While You Sleep platform. We're going over some new updates to the free agent websites we offer at insprofessional.com. We're also going to talk about some new products available on that Sell While You Sleep platform. If you haven't used that, it's actually a one-of-a-kind program where we give you a free agent website, and then we have about a dozen products that your clients can run quotes, apply for, get approved, and even print their policy right through your agent website. So if you're doing any sort of email marketing or wanting to get into that type of a marketing effort, that is one of the fastest and easiest ways to get started.
Okay, thank you, Joe. And it's great, like we mentioned that mobile app, and selling over the phone, selling in different states, counties, cities. With that new app, you can literally pick up your smartphone, you can run a quote, sign the client up online, okay, either over the phone or in front of you, and do everything you need to do from your iPad or your smartphone. So there's no excuse now to not sell either over the phone or in front of someone in a supermarket, at a basketball or football game. With today's technology and the way Levinson put together this platform, everything, every single part of the website is available to you at your fingertips instantly. So no more excuses. Okay, so with that said, we have an awesome video on that Iul sales software where Tony Robbins actually compares like a typical 401k versus an IUL, and he talks about all the fees that most consumers don't see or know about. So in fact, we'll include that video in today's email that's going to go out to everybody. And with that said, we talk about the LEAD program today. We talked about the Indexed Universal Life sales software and different trainings that we make available for our agents. It's so important to step out of the box and forget about your normal comfort zone. Take a shot, try new things. If it doesn't work, great, at least you tried it. I love this saying from Tony Robbins, if you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always gotten. So with that said, have a great rest of the week, a good weekend, and great selling. Take care.